Hello, everybody. My name is Eric D. Johnson. Also known as BrightShine, right here in the city of Memphis. It's in the county sheriff. It's in the state of Tennessee. Today's date, Sunday afternoon, the month of February the 15th, 2026. Time 4:05 p.m. First, I just say thank you to my family, my support for you. Continue to keep myself employed in the Memphis Tri-State area and continue to further my education. By studying, being administrative, contract, and marketing. At present time, I took a break and going to school. In the future, I do intend to go back to school and continue to work on earning my associate degree in being administrative, contract, and marketing, as well as other degrees. Now, I'm going to start my Facebook Live. Hello, everybody. My name is Eric D. Johnson. Also known as BrightShine. I live right here in the city of Memphis in the county sheriff, state of Tennessee. Today's date, Sunday afternoon, February the 15th, 2026. The time is 4:07 p.m. First, say thank you to my family, my support for you. Continue to keep myself employed in the Memphis Tri-State area and continue to further my education. By studying, being administrative, contract, and marketing, at time, I took a break and going to school in the future. I do intend to go back to school and earn my associate degree in being administrative, contract, and marketing, as well as other degrees. Now, first, I want to say thank you to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, Son of God, for all the blessings and guidance provides us all with. Continue to pray about these natural disasters and continue to pray about these wars that are being fought. And just continue to pray. Continue to pray. Now, last week I didn't make my video. Last weekend, you know what I'm saying. Last Saturday, of course, I had to work, and then Sunday was the Super Bowl and everything, and so but making my video this weekend, and on today's video, take the time that I have, go deal with some topics and issues and things. And they first, month of February. This is the month of Black History Month, and Carter G. Woodson, Dr. Carter G. Woodson, Dr. Carter G. Woodson. It started out, Negro History Month, and Negro History Week, and then it went from the week to from a month, so on and so forth. I'm glad today that we have access to we have access to education. Everyone, we have a United Nations that's in the United Nations Charter that each and every human being on this earth, on this globe, on this planet, has the right to education. Every human being has the right to education. In the United Nations, they respect all human beings, culture, traditions, heritage, lineage, whatever ethnic groups or whatever linguistics groups, whatever nationalities or gender, or whatever your sexual preference, all that. All human beings have rights. All human beings have rights. And so, like I said, Black History Month, and it's serious. You know, it's important to me. It should be important to all people, all over the world, because history is important in general. You know, all history is important. All history, because all history is all about us as human beings, the good and the bad, the negative and the positive. It's about all of us as human beings, and it shows all the advances, improvements, and progress from the past, the present, and in the future. And so, history should be valued and it should be emphasized. And so, like I said, this month is Black History Month, and so that's important to me, you know. And we're gonna touch on that, you know, the time that I have. We're gonna get on these things, and so let me get my Holy Bible here. Holy Bible. Holy Bible. Now, I'm going to start reading from the Holy Bible in the Old Testament. The book of Exodus, chapter 20, verses 1 through 17. And it reads, And God spake all these words, saying, I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and shewing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. Thou shalt not take the name of thy Lord in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless that taking his name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou nor thy son nor thy daughter, thy manservant nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's. I'm going to also read from the book of Deuteronomy, from the book of Deuteronomy. And what I just read from the book of Exodus, chapter 20, verses 1 through 17, the Ten Commandments. Now, I'm going to also read from the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 4, verse 39. And it reads, Know therefore this day, and consider it in thine heart, that the Lord, he is God in heaven above, and upon the earth beneath. There is none else. And I just read from the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 4, verse 39. And I also shall read from the book of Joshua, chapter 2, verse 11. And again, I'm reading from the book of Joshua, chapter 2, verse number 11. And it reads, And as soon as we had heard these things, our hearts did melt. Neither did there remain any more courage in any man because of you. For the Lord your God, he is God in heaven above and in earth beneath. So I just read from the book of Joshua, chapter 2, verse 11. And I shall also read from the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 32, verse 39 through 43. Okay, so like I said, I'm reading from the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 32, verses 39 through 43. And it reads, See now that I, even I, am he, and there is no God with me. I kill and I make alive. I wound and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. For I lift up my hand to heaven and say, I live forever. If I wet my glittering sword in my hand, take hold on judgment, I will render vengeance to my enemies and will reward them that hate me. I will make my arrows drunk with blood, and my sword shall devour flesh, and then with the blood of the slain and of the captives, from the beginning of revenges upon the enemy. Rejoice, O ye nations, with his people, for he will avenge the blood of his servants, and will render vengeance to his adversaries, and will be merciful unto his land and to his people. So I just read the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 32, verses 39 through 43. Sacred tradition. Now, the verse that I just read, it's been talking about Gnosticism. Talking about it's a God up here, and then there's another God down here. Well, I just read it. Deuteronomy chapter 32, emphasizing verse 39. There's no other God with me. Monotheism, not dualism. Monotheism, one God. As well as the other verses. It's only one God. Now, there was a time in history, according to the historians, what they call polytheism. It was pretty prevalent during prehistoric times. Many people today have converted from polytheistic ideologies, points of view, ways of thinking, to monotheism, Judaism, what we call Christianity, Catholic, Catholic churches, all this Protestant stuff is called Christianity. And Islam. There's some other so-called monotheistic beliefs. Zoroastrianism, supposedly supposed to be one God, but it's some kind of dualistic stuff. So, sacred tradition, the Holy Bible, sacred tradition, monotheism, one God, one. Many Jews, many other Jews, monotheism, one God, mainly the Old Testament, what we call Christianity, all the Catholic churches and the Protestant churches, fall up under Christianity. Now, the Old Testament and the New Testament, sacred tradition, monotheism, sacred tradition, one God. And when it talks about Islam, there are things that are mentioned in the Quran, which is the book of the Muslims, about Muhammad, about Abraham and Isaac and Jacob and Adam and Eve. They mention things about our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, Son of God, being a prophet and so on and so forth. All the Old Testament prophets. There's a reason why you hear people say the Abrahamic religions. Because all religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam talk about Abraham. So they say Abrahamic religions. the belief, the faith, Abrahamic religion. Monotheism, one God. When it comes to all the Catholic Church, talking about sacred tradition, as well as these so-called Protestant churches. Sacred tradition. One God. One. Not no two. Not no God up here. Not no dualism. Talking about God up here and then there's another God. No. Excuse me. Not no dualism. One God. One. I just read it. And everybody heard it. And put emphasis on the scripture. Let's go to when we read Deuteronomy 32, verse number 39. God said, hey, ain't no dualism here. It's just me by myself. Me, myself, and I. I'm by myself. And then I read over there in Joshua. In the book of Joshua. God said, I'm up in the heavens. And I'm the God that's down here in earth. You ain't finna tell me the material world evil. Because I'm up here in heaven. And I'm out on earth. Excuse me. So they killed that dualism. Ain't no dualism here. See, when you read the Bible, excuse me. See, the Bible tell you, God even tell you, ain't no dualism here. So you ain't gonna get away with no dualism. No. And so sacred tradition is not dualism. Sacred tradition is not dualism. No. No. So we want to make sure we get that clear. So, and I got my books. I got my other books on African, traditional African religion, ancient African religion. I got my books behind. And before I end today's video, we're going to address that. And again, ain't no dualism. No. Ain't no dualism. Because see, the majority of the Niger Congo, monotheism. One. See, it's Black History Month. In Black History Month, we'll see the people in sub-Saharan Africa, the Niger Congo, one God. One. Excuse me. Oh, like I said, before I end today's video, I got my books behind me. I pretty much got over that little cold I had. Still trying to get that congestion, you know. Then I know I'm trying to talk loud, but I want to be loud. I want you to hear it because I want to make, you know, you want to make sure you get your point across. You know, people be talking about this Gnostic nonsense, and just like I've been telling you all the time, you've been lying the whole time. And people see, even the Bible telling you, no, it's not like that. No, see, excuse me, when you don't refer to the Bible. Excuse me. You just be running off at the mouth. But no, ain't no dualism here. This is not dualism. I just read it. And God made it perfectly clear. Ah. Excuse me. Ah. Ah, boy, excuse me. But ain't no dualism. We made it perfectly clear. made it perfectly clear in the Old Testament and New Testament. No dualism. No dualism. God said it. No dualism. You heard me read it. I read it. I'm going to give you the verses again. That way you can read it yourself. And you'll see that the Old Testament, and then it comes to the New Testament. Ain't no dualism. I started out reading from the excuse me, from the Ten Commandments. Exodus chapter 20. Verses 1 through 17. No dualism. No dualism. God told you, I'm a jealous God. Ain't no God with me. No dualism. Then I read Deuteronomy chapter 4. I read verse 39. God told you, ain't no other God. There's none other. Ain't nobody with me. I'm by myself. Then I went over there to Joshua chapter 2, verse number 11. God said, there's nobody with me. No dualism. No dualism. God told you. No dualism. Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. I'm sorry. And then I read the last scriptures I read was Deuteronomy chapter 32. Emphasize verse 39 through 43. God told you, I'm God by myself. No dualism. So now, don't know Gnostic got nothing to say. No, that's a lie. And we just read. I just gave you some verses. And them not the only verses. Them not the only one, but I just gave you a few of them. No, ain't no dualism. No dualism. No. You read it. So you get, hey, you know that's a lie. You know it's a lie. Ain't no dualism here. God told you. Ain't no dualism here. I'm by myself. And we just read it. So you can forget that. No. And you know, when the church fathers, when we talk about the Gnostics and who they were, the church fathers in the Catholic Church, when they saw who it was, they knew who they were. Some heretics. Some Jewish heretics. Like Valentinus. Some Jewish heretics. The church father told you who they were. See, sacred tradition. Sacred tradition is not dualism. Hey, you can stand on that. We can get a thumbs up on that. Hey, sacred tradition is not dualism. And we just read it. So, you know, we got a thumbs up on that one. Hey, we right on time on that. Now, we know. Now, Old Testament, New Testament, ain't no dualism here. That's a lie. And like I said, hey, this Black History Month, I got my Black History, I got my books with me. Like I got my books with me. And before I end today's video, African history, Sub-Saharan Africa, Niger Congo, and then let me say this. You know, all the people that live on the continent of Africa, you know, Afro-Asiatics, Nilo-Saharans, many other, you know, people, you know, Afro-Asiatics before Islam, before Christianity. See, many people, all that polytheistic and all that stuff, ancestor worship and all that, see, all that stuff about animism and shamanism and all that, as well as the Nilo-Saharan. See? Excuse me. So like I said, hey, no, the dualism, But like I said, I got my books with me. Many other Niger Congo, monotheistic. Monotheistic. See, you should have listened and see, just like I said, see, Dr. John Henry Clark, he had already told you. He told you the same thing. African spirituality and things of that nature. But let me move on, because what time is it? Okay. Like I said, I didn't get the chance. Well, I ain't gonna say that. I didn't make my video last week. First of all, last Saturday, I had to work. And then, of course, like I said, Sunday, the Super Bowl and everything. So, you know, I ain't really just have one day to get myself ready, you know, to go back to work on Monday. So, and then the Super Bowl came on and, you know, all that. So, I said, forget, well, you know, like, well, go ahead and watch the Super Bowl, man, and just get myself ready for Monday. So, you know. But on today's video, some review and things that they've been continuing to talk about. Prehistoric religion and traditional African religion, ancient African religion, indefinitely. And do not forget math. Don't forget math. You can't talk about biology, you can't talk about chemistry, you can't talk about physics, you can't talk about any field of science or branch of science without math. You got to talk, you know, you got to include math. You can't do anything without math. You got to make sure you include math. sacred tradition. And don't forget, Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva, don't forget. Rabbi Akiva, one of the most respected rabbis in Judaism. Rabbi Akiva said, I don't want that Grecian philosophy to be an influence on Judaism, and I don't want that Gnosticism to be, and that's the reason why. Dualism. There's only one God. One. Only one. Only one. One God. One. In the Old Testament and the New Testament. Only one. One God. One. And read why sacred tradition is so important. Sacred tradition. No dualism. And we read. No dualism. We read Old Testament, and we can also go to the New Testament. I didn't go to the New Testament today. But we start in the Old Testament, and you know that the church, Old Testament, New Testament, no dualism. We just read it. We read it. Sacred tradition. See, like I told you, them bitches thought they got away. I told you. I told you. I already knew. I told you. Conservative vice lord. I told you. I told you. I knew. I told you I knew. A long time ago, I knew. And I told you. They thought that damn gangster disciple and that black gangster new breed, I told you they thought they got away. But they ain't the only one. See, I told you. See, dualism, you thought that Nazi, that Nagmine library, that Nazi, you thought you was doing something. You thought you was getting away. I told you. I just read it in the Old Testament. See, I knew. But see, when you don't read the Holy Bible with understanding, when you can't comprehend, when you read the Old Testament and you hear the Ten Commandments, God told you, I'm a jealous God. Ain't no other God with me. No dualism. No dualism. You ain't know what you was talking about. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about. It's wrong. See, the wailing sheep and the dirty sheep, they ain't do nothing wrong. See, the white people, they thought dirty sheep and wailing sheep didn't do nothing wrong. Hell, black people. Hey, this Black History Month. I got my books behind. No, you colonialism wrong. You was wrong. Colonialism wrong. When the Chicago Defender newspaper told black people, come up to Chicago, leave the South, you ain't do nothing wrong. Getting away from all that Jim Crow nonsense and going to different places like Chicago and Indianapolis and Milwaukee and Iowa and Detroit, Michigan, and all these places like that, trying to get out this Jim Crow. But see, all that want to be a gangster, want to be a mobster, want to be a thug, and then put emphasis on education. And that includes, let me tell you this, that includes the sorority and fraternity. See, it ain't no dualism in the Holy Bible. There ain't no dualism in the Holy Bible. God told you, I'm a jealous God. Ain't no God with me. So you can kill that dualism in all them other verses. See, God told you, I'm a jealous God. I'm by myself. You don't worship nobody but me. No dualism. So the sorority and fraternity, the National Pan-Hellenic Council, they include all the fraternity, all the 5 fraternity and the 4 sororities. The National Pan-Hellenic Council. See, some individuals, not the founders, the individuals who came behind the founders, worried about being a gangster and a mobster and a thug. You was wrong. Wrong. No dualism in the Holy Bible. No dualism in the Bible. None. No dualism in the Old Testament and the New Testament. No dualism. You was wrong. You lied. It's wrong. You lied. See, the dirty sheets and the wailing sheep. Then they started in Chicago. The Imperial Chaplains in the 14th Street closed. They ain't do nothing wrong. They ain't did nothing wrong. Because they ain't not the ones talking about no damn dualism. They didn't start it. They didn't start no dualism. Here we all black / African Americans being oppressed. And out of that Imperial Chaplain in 14th Street closed, the The Egyptian code broke off. But that's when they tried to use that Nehemiah library, talking about some Gnosticism. You just some dumb ass niggas. It was wrong. Just some dumb ass niggas. You didn't know what you was talking about. You weren't interested in listening to the Holy Bible. No dualism in the Holy Bible. All thing you worry about being a gangster and being a mobster and a thug. Elvin Peplo Perry, he ain't did nothing wrong. I told you. There's no dualism in the Holy Bible. He ain't did nothing wrong. Elvin Peplo Perry, he real. Elvin Peplo Perry, he true. Bobby Gore, the old heads, hell, Alfonso, he got shot. And that bitch ass nigga, what's his name? The one that started it, the Roman Saints. He branched off from the vice lord. Well, you know he a bitch. He didn't know what he was talking about. Just like Larry Hoover, he didn't know what he was talking about. Just like that Booty Black, he didn't know what he was talking about. Excuse me. He didn't know what he was talking about. Hell, Jeff Fort real. It ain't no dualism in the Holy Bible. Dualism, talking about some Gnostic. King David Bosdale real. He true. That's messed up that his wife got shot and killed, man. That's wrong. That's wrong. It's just like the folk on hustle. Walter Wheat. Excuse me. It's messed up, man. And then niggas walking around calling themselves Angelo Foe. Some bitches. And talking about the MENA and Black Mob. Man, you ain't know some bitches. You ain't know some bitches. Because the niggas who started that, they ain't know what they was talking about. I already got it straightened out. I told you. I told you. Ain't no dualism in the Holy Bible. No dualism in the Holy Bible. You ain't know what you was talking about. The niggas who started, them bitches didn't know what they was talking about. You didn't know what you was talking about. It's wrong what you done. It's wrong. It's wrong what you did. They go for the rest of you, Vice Lord. It's wrong what you done. It's wrong. And then talking about this, and when we get to this Blood gang, Crip gang, it'll be the same thing. You ain't know what the fuck you was talking about. It's wrong what you done. Oh, you worried about being a gangster, being a monster, being a thug. You ain't know what you was talking about. There wasn't no reason for no nigga to be down in Arkansas, be down in Louisiana, down in Mississippi, and to take your dumb ass all the way out to Los Angeles talking about some damn Gnosticism. You ain't know what you was talking about. You did the wrong thing for the wrong reason. It wasn't no reason to take your dumb ass all the way out to Los Angeles. Talking about some dualism. You ain't know what you was talking about. You ain't know what you was talking about. You just dumb. Some dumb ass, bitch ass niggas. You ain't know what you was talking about. Just like now. You don't know what you're talking about. You just dumb. Again, it ain't no dualism in here, in this Holy Bible. No dualism. No dualism. When God gave the children of Israel the 10 Commandments, God told you, it's only one. I'm the only one. And that includes Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Adam and Eve. I got some more scriptures that I didn't even mention, but I'm alluding to it. I'm telling you. In the book of Genesis, it's the same thing. God telling you, I'm the only one. That's what it means. You don't know how to comprehend. There's no dualism. There's no dualism in this Holy Bible. There's only one. One God. Old Testament and New Testament. One God. You ain't know what you was talking about. You just dumb. It's wrong what you done and what you be doing. It's wrong. And just to be talking about the state of California, the city of Los Angeles, hell, the Black Princeton ain't got to worry about no damn Bloods and Crips being right about a damn thing. It's wrong. Like I told you, background check. The Black disciples ain't got to worry about you, no Bloods, no Crips, being right about a damn thing. Don't no vice lord got to never worry about no Blood gang, no Crip gang being right about anything. Evan Pepper Lopez, real. Evan Pepper Lopez, true. You didn't know what you was talking about. And like I told you, man, hey, like I told you, it's all about time. That's all it is, time. That's all it is, time. It's just a matter of time. Just a matter of time. You ain't got away with nothing. You ain't got away with nothing. Blood gang, Crip gang, you ain't got away with nothing. Just a matter of time. Ain't no gangster disciple. Ain't no black gangster new breed got away with nothing. It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time. You can walk your ass around with your gun. You can make little videos and make, man, look, Eric walking around now. Eric walking around. Hey, Eric ain't going, man. Eric ain't going. Eric is not going to take no. Now, I know them police cars be riding around. But Eric not that, no. Eric, no. Don't push that, no. Eric don't, no. Eric ain't going. Eric not going, no. All this time. All this time, man. You ain't nobody. That's what I'm mad about. I don't know what the hell no damn bitches up here in Chicago walking their ass around talking about no gangster disciple and no black gangster new breed. Just like out there in Los Angeles, California. Yeah, what you doing that for? Talking about some Blood gang, Crip gang. What you doing that for? Ain't no reason for you to be walking your dumb ass in Los Angeles, California. Talking about some damn Gnostic. Man. You dumb as, just some dumb ass niggas. Just some dumb ass niggas. Ain't right about nothing. Just some dumb ass niggas. And while we on the subject of education, that so-called sorority fraternity individuals, don't you walk your ass around and assume. Don't you walk your ass around and think won't get you. Because what I don't like nobody coming to me telling me nothing about nobody else. But I guarantee you, that's what happens. People start talking. People start talking because they don't like what somebody else. So don't you walk your ass around and think you can get away with disrespecting somebody else. Because I guarantee you what's going to happen. Somebody going to start talking to somebody else. It happens all the time. You make somebody mad. Or you done made somebody mad. Or they walking around, they been mad. And what always happens, somebody don't like taking that goddamn shit off your ass. And I don't either. And you end up getting your ass in trouble. So don't you walk your ass around and think you can get away or you didn't got away with disrespecting somebody else. Talking about some damn Gnostic. Talking about some damn Gnostic. Because I guarantee you, don't you think them bullets won't come in your direction. Don't you even think for 1 minute, because I'm going to tell you, Eric walking around. And you mess around and let something come my way, you know Eric coming. Eric coming, because he ain't, no. Mm-mm. You didn't know what you was talking about. It's wrong what you done. It's wrong. It's wrong. So like I said, when it comes to the vice lord, hey, conservative vice lord, hey, I don't know what no gangster disciple, no black gangster disciple doing walking around in Chicago for no reason. What they doing that for? Ain't no such thing, no Nazi being right. Talking about some damn Gnosticism, talking about some material world evil. See, it's good that I read the Holy Bible. See, the Holy Bible speak for it tell you right there, God speaking from the Bible. I'm one God, and I'm by myself. And I'm up here in heaven, I'm down on earth. God told you, I'm a jealous God. I'm by myself. Ain't nobody gonna be worshiping nobody else and I'm around. No, there ain't no dualism. Ain't no dualism in the Old Testament and the New Testament. Ain't no dualism. Because from the Old Testament to the New Testament, we talking about the same God. Talking about the same God. No dualism. See, when you talk about the New Testament and you run off at the mouth, see, the God we talking about in the New Testament, we talking about the same God in the Old Testament. It ain't no different. It's the same. It's no dualism. No dualism. Talking about the material world evil and it's some God. No, Nope. No dualism. No. One God. One. And then, you know, it's so messed up, man. Individuals so damn stupid. Being, you know, this Gnostic nonsense. You know. Talking about the material world evil. And then you go around being self-destructive and destructive. That's what they do. Trying to destroy wildlife, trying to destroy nature, and that's what they do. The cats and dogs being mistreated. Other human beings being victimized. Trying to destroy the North and South Pole. Just trying just trying to do anything. What I'm gonna say is this: just go and kill your goddamn self. Me and everybody else gonna move on, and they can just go and bury you on in the ground, and we're gonna just go on. Myself and everybody else, we're gonna go on. You can go on and annihilate yourself or eliminate yourself, execute yourself, whatever. Look, go on, do that. Excuse me. So the rest of us can go on. Excuse me. Because all this nonsense about some damn nagging my library and then them other codexes. What is the Askew Codex, the Berlin Codex, and the Bruce Codex? Some Gnostic codexes, some leftover, some Gnostic theologian writing that didn't get destroyed. Because and I know, the Catholic Church, they went around and collected that Gnostic theologian writing, and they destroyed it. You don't even see any of that Gnostic theologian writing no more. Nobody does that. Ain't that something? You got all these colleges and universities around the world. You don't see nobody doing that Gnostic theologian writing. Nowhere. But they talk about they found some leftover papers from the past. And you just sitting around making a complete fool of yourself. Going around with anal sex. Anal sex. See, I told you. All that lesbian, gay, bisexual, that transgender, transsexual stuff. See, they tried to make up a doctrine. They tried to make up some kind of ideology. I told you. They try to make it sound like, what I'm saying, like you can, like they try to, justify. Try to give some kind of justification for that. It's none. It ain't no justification for that. You know what I'm saying? You can't justify that. No. Because it's not no justification for no anal sex. You know what? I don't want to get caught up in my video and forget, but I got my books right here. Dr. John S. M.B. TNO Quackopomi. And Kofi Asari, Opoku. J. Omosede Ewolelu. Jacob K. Olopune. And this is another book by Jacob K. Olopune. This is also a book. It was edited by Jacob K. Olopune. And this is also a book, African Religion, World Religion. By Aloysius M. Lugira. So like I said, it's a lot of individuals didn't know what they were talking about. But like I mentioned last week, and I'm gonna say it again, Dr. John Henry Clark, as well as others, been trying to teach our people, and teaching people in general. Dr. John Henrik Clark. So like I said, Dr. John Henry Clark, as well as others, because you know you had this what they call African Studies. It's been given different titles and everything. African American and African Studies, and things of this nature. Black Studies, and so on and so forth. But these are things that are being taught at colleges and universities all around the world. Colleges and universities right here in the United States of America. But these are also colleges and universities all around the world. So, these subjects about us as human beings, all people, at colleges and universities all over the world. So, what they call African Studies. So there are many men and women who will continue to study history. And history is not limited, it's broad, because history is all about us as human beings. We as human beings. All over this earth, this globe, this planet. History. And it's important. Nobody is unimportant. All human beings are important. All human beings. Important. So like I said, all this stuff about some Gnostic and Gnostic, you ain't know what you talking about. And so, prehistoric religion. Traditional African religion, ancient African religion. Are we going to, we haven't stopped. By no means. It's indefinite. It's indefinite. We're going to be on prehistoric religion, traditional African religion, ancient African religion, indefinitely. That includes math. You can't get into any prehistoric religion, traditional African religion, ancient African religion without math. You got to have math included. So like I said, I did my video today, and I wanted to make sure that I touched on the things that need to be touched on. Is that people didn't know what they was talking about, and they did the wrong thing for the wrong reason. You did the wrong thing for the wrong reason. Dualism is not what you need to be worried about. It was wrong. You know, and it was wrong. It was wrong. Because there's no dualism in the Holy Bible. There's no dualism in the Holy Bible. No dualism in the Holy Bible. Don't let nobody tell you. I read them verses today. When you go to the Ten Commandments, it's no dualism. God told you. I'm a jealous God. There's no God. You ain't going to worship no God but me. That's what God said to the children. No, you don't worship. No, there is no other God. I'm the only God. So there's no dualism. You go to Adam and Eve. You go to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. It's no dualism. There's no dualism in the Old Testament. When you get to the New Testament, we talking about the same God. No dualism. No Gnostic. Sacred tradition. No dualism. Sacred tradition is not dualism. Sacred tradition is not Gnostic. Now, before I end today's video, we touched on something last week. And I said, on my last video, said we're going to get into this. Now, let me say this. Now, I'm not, I don't have my harmonica with me because I've been trying to make sure I get this cold up out of me. So, you know, I don't want to be blowing my harmonica and got cold and then it be all, you know. So I'm going to make sure I get all that cold up out of me. All that congestion and all that, get all that up out of my system. Then I go back to my harmonica, you know, so on and so forth. Because, you know, 12-bar blues, 8-bar blues, 16-bar blues, 32-bar form, you know what I'm saying? This stuff is important. Opportunity come, you know. Okay, now what I was And so, like I said, you know, it's a lot, you know, a lot of opportunities and things. So, you know, like I said, I'm just trying to get all this, you know, cold, because there's been a lot of cold air and been affected by that cold air with the cold being, you know. So I'm trying to get all that cold and you know, get it all up out of my system. Because, you know, opportunities always, you know, it's going to be there. So, you know, you take advantage of them opportunities. You know I got to practice. So, but, excuse me. But, the thing that I was talking about is that I know when I did my last video, we were talking about liberals and conservatives and everything. I was getting to that, but I just wanted to make sure that I mentioned the fact that I know I'm not playing my own monk, and I'm trying to get all that cold and all that congestion up out of me. Now, because, you know, I'm not going to let no opportunity to pay me back. But like we were talking about, you know, we were talking about 12-bar blues and 8-bar blues and 16-bar blues. You know, 16-bar blues, you know, it's like the ragtime type stuff, and with Scott Joplin and what's his name, James Scott, and then it was this Irish guy, Joseph Lamb, because Scott Joplin, he was African American, and James Scott was also African American, and they did, those two, they did, Scott did meet Joplin on occasion. He met him and everything. But that was the ragtime thing. And like I said in the past, previously, ragtime was very popular. Ragtime was one of the most popular music genres around the world. That was the time ragtime was popular. And then you had, like I said, this Irish guy, Joseph Lamb. He was a composer with the other two men, with Scott Joplin and James Scott. So you shouldn't take that 16-bar blues too lightly. And then, of course, you got that 32-bar blues, 32-bar form. See, when you talk about things like that, these people be talking about this rap and all that. And then rap, hip hop, all this sampling they been doing. I had thought about that one time. I had seen this movie. I'm pretty sure everybody, you seen that movie, Straight Outta Compton, right? Well, you remember that part of the movie with the guy, he owned that club, and the guy, he had the Jerry curl and everything. And, he told him, he said, "Look here, man, I don't care nothing about that rap stuff, man, but you gonna get in here on this R&B. You know what I'm saying? You gonna get on this R&B, man. You gonna get your ass in there on this R&B. You know what I'm saying?" And he ain't care nothing about no rap. You know what I'm saying? He had the Jerry curl and everything. He like, "Man, look here, man, this is my club." And you know what I'm saying? And, getting this on this R&B, man. F that rap. You know what I'm saying? You know, R&B, you know, because, you know, think about it though. A lot of that rap stuff, man, they sample other people's music. They sample other people's music. You know, they sample other people, and so, you know, you steal from other people, and then you just try to rhyme and all that. People been rhyming, saying words that sound like in R&B and in soul music. That ain't nothing new. That ain't nothing new. People who sing rap, people who sing R&B, they say words that sound the same, you know. And then people who sing soul music, they say words that sound like before rap. That ain't nothing new. But you stole other people's music, man. You sampled other people's music, you know. And like I said before, man, a lot of people, man, who sing R&B, blues, soul, they didn't even get the credit. They didn't even get no money. They didn't even get the financial gain out of it. Stole. Some of these white people stole. You know what I'm saying? Stole the money. And stole the credit. Now we're looking to see what time it is, yeah. But before I end the day, we finna get on this, cause you know what I'm saying, okay, like I said, on my previous video, I touched on this, all this liberal and conservative, and talking about you going to tell jokes. Okay, now, conservative principles. Artificial intelligence overview. Conservative principles focus on upholding traditional values, limited government, individual liberty, free markets, and a strong national defense, often emphasizing constitutional adherence and personal responsibility. Okay, so you want to tell jokes. Okay. Grounded in the respect for established institutions, these ideas prioritize gradual change and order over radical top-down reforms. Core principles of American conservatism: limited government. The government's role should be restricted to protecting individual rights and ensuring a free market rather than engineering social outcomes. Individual liberty, emphasis on personal freedom, responsibility, and the belief that rights are natural rather than government granted. Traditional values and order. A commitment to preserving societal stability, virtue, and institutions like family and community. Free enterprise, support for capitalism, private property, and limited regulation to foster economic growth. Rule of law, adherence to the Constitution, and a legal system that is impartial and predictable. Peace through strength. A strong military is essential for national security and international stability. Fiscal responsibility. Advocating for low taxes, reduced spending, and balanced budgets to promote prosperity. Key aspects of conservatism, conservative thought. Conservative view on change, favoring gradual, organic change over radical, sweeping, or utopian societal restructuring. Human nature. General belief in the imperfect ability of human beings, which justify the need for order and prudent restraints on power. And then you have key figures often associated with the ideas of philosophers like Russell Kirk or politicians like Ronald Reagan. Faith, family, and freedom. Distinction from libertarianism. While sharing belief in limited government, conservatism often places a strong emphasis on traditional social order, while libertarianism may favor less regulation overall. All right. Application of principles: economics, lowering taxes, decreasing regulation, and supporting free trade. Society upholding traditional moral values and encouraging voluntary community support over government aid. Legal ensuring constitutional interpretation remains true to the intent of the founders. All right. Now, liberal principles. Artificial intelligence overview. Liberal principles are rooted in a political and moral philosophy emphasizing individual liberty, consent of the governed, and equality before the law. Key tenets include upholding fundamental human rights, speech, religion, assembly, promoting limited government via the rule of law, protecting private property, and fostering free market economies. Core principles of liberalism include individual liberty, the primary value, ensuring freedom of thought, action, and self-determination for individuals. The rule of law. Law must apply equally to all citizens and constrain the power of government, officials, and institutions. Equality, ensuring equal rights, opportunities, and protection under the law, opposing discrimination. Consent of the governed. Governments derive their legitimacy from the people through democratic representation. Individual rights, protection of civil rights, including freedom of speech, press, religion, and assembly. Private property and markets. Support for free market economies, economic freedom, and the right to own property. Tolerance and pluralism. A willingness to accept diverse views, lifestyles, and actions. Now, classical liberalism emphasizes limited government, laissez-faire economics, and individual rights against state power. Modern liberalism, or social liberalism, often supports a larger role for government in ensuring equality of opportunity, social justice, and addressing market failures. So like I was pointing out, I don't see what no conservatives doing telling no jokes. They want to sit together. Shut the comedy club down. Shut the comedy club down. Just shut it down. Shut the comedy club down. Shut it down. Let me delete this right here. Now let's go back over to conservative. Conservative principles. Traditional values and order. Now, I don't know what your traditional values and order are. I don't want no damn Ku Klux Klan come up talking about they going to the comedy club, becoming no millionaire, telling no jokes about black people. Traditional values. I don't know what Donald Trump doing sitting up in the White House and talking about some images of Michelle and Barack Obama. And see, a lot of things that people say, that's the reason why it was so controversial. When you see how the police, you're talking about the rule of law, and how the police don't respect people's rights. Now you say that you're supposed to have rights naturally. Conservatives, you're supposed to have natural rights, naturally. Not through the government, but naturally. Well, it's all human beings. It's all human beings. As well as all that's created. Because wildlife, nature, the environment, this earth, It's natural. Space, it's natural. So it's got rights. Traditional. But like I was saying, I don't know what no police doing going around violating other people's rights. I don't know what all this discrimination is. Talking about free enterprise. And then what was they talking about? The Constitution. Conservative view on change. Favoring gradual organic change over radical, sweeping or utopian societal restructuring. If I thought about that, we'll still be sitting around with Jim Crow laws. Gradual. We'll still be sitting around with talking about riding on the bus. See, a lot of things with technology, when you talk, this being Black History Month, you remember those black women and black men, there was inventors. See, it wasn't no gradual thing, because first of all, we were denied education. But that's what changed. That brought about change. That brought about change. Them black inventors. At various times in history, the black inventors brought about positive change. They brought about advances, improvements, progress in society. They're talking about, faith, family, and freedom. They're talking about family. And I think back in history how, there's been things that have been talked about by many black men and women about history in this country. And how try to destroy the black family. Try to destroy the whole concept of family. I can say this about conservative, what you call conservative principle. You can dress it up and, it ain't never really applied to us as blacks. And I can say the same thing about, liberal principle, whatever. But a lot of things, like limited government, liberals and conservative both saying the same thing. You make it sound like the liberals don't have any respect for family or the government or whatever. And when it comes to taxes and things of this nature, if we don't pay our taxes, we ain't gonna have no government, period. You ain't gonna have no strong defense. If you don't have taxes, if you don't pay taxes, we ain't gonna have no strong defense. So I don't see how you currently be talking about a strong defense. Talking about what you call it, peace through strength. Strength through peace, or peace through strength. Yeah, peace through strength. A strong military is essential for national security and international stability. Now, let me say this. It's one thing for our national security. Let me make this clear. But see, there again, when you go outside this United States of America, everybody else around the world want to be free. And everybody around the world don't always agree with the politicians here in the United States of America. They want to be free. So you can have strength. You can have peace through strength. But it's a limit. You know, you can't go outside the United States of America and impose your will upon other people. But when it comes to raising taxes, see, when you don't want to pay your taxes, you ain't gonna never have no strong defense. And then, so like I said, if you want to tell jokes, you know, I was just throwing something out there, you know, people have the right, you know, nothing wrong with telling jokes, but I was just doing the same thing, being humorous, being a comic, you know. But when it comes to that liberal and conservative, you know, that you have to make sure you don't be confused about the principles. Because if you saying family values and all, there's certain things that are comic. You know, some comics, they don't have no bar hole, you know, some place, you know, it's just whatever. They'll do any and everything. And then some others, you know, they, you know, like it's a line you just don't cross. You know, sometimes things like that come up. It's a line you just don't cross, you know. And so I just wanted to, you know, touch on that. You know. And so because, you know, being an entertainer or whatever, or a comic or whatever, you know, people have their own, each individual have rights. So, you know, you have your do's and don'ts. You know, you have your do's and don'ts, your say and don't say, you know. And, you know, somebody saying, hey, man, you shouldn't have said that, or you shouldn't have did this or whatever. But, you know, then, you know, we experience this stuff all the time. It's all the time. For example, somebody said the N-word. Somebody said the N, including African American. It's been a problem. People talking about like people that are black / African American using the N-word. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm talking about? Using the N-word, not just white people or others, but black / African Americans using the N-word. You know? Or calling, they just say me being a black male, using a bitch. You know? You said something wrong. Well, I mean, you know, hey, you say it was wrong, then somebody else gonna be like, including me, and be like, what about, you know, like, I ain't saying nothing wrong. You see what I'm saying? You know, you said hoe, you know. But I'm gonna say this. Let me say this. If a male call another male, okay, a bitch, okay, you done messed around and crossed the line. You done did something wrong. You see how we going with that? But if you say, you know, call a female a bitch, you know, some people might be like, man, you know, that was wrong. The other people be like, what's the problem? You know, so, you know, that you know. So I'm gonna go ahead and about a couple more minutes. It'll be 2 hours, a 2-hour video. So, like I said, I just want to, you know, touch on that liberal principles and conservative principles, because it's important. That's the world we live in. I mean, it don't just go to America. It's people all over the world. I'm pretty sure you heard left wing and right wing. So a lot of left wing radical, that's what they refer to as radical. And then they had these right wing extreme, right wing extremists, left wing radicals, being violent. The right wing extremists being violent. The left wing radicals, they being violent. And so, like I said, these quote unquote principles, like the economy, about the economy, it's worldwide, and how you interpret it, it's a worldwide thing. Yeah, left wing and right wing, And so, like I said, it's important. Those things, because we make our choices and decisions based on these principles. On these principles. Now, me, it's not like a big disagreement. I don't get into all that. I don't think I'd be on a conservative like thing, because being radical and all, my personality, I'd be radical and my individual freedom and the big government. I'd be one of them people, as long as I pay my taxes, You talking about fiscal responsibility. But yet and still, we got to have this big police force. See, sometimes people say things, but you don't never watch how they, spend money. See, some people, it's just like the conservative. They try to make this issue like about the taxes, right? But you don't never see how they try to take the money that we do raise with taxes and what they do with the tax dollars. The government still big. It's just they, saying you try to eliminate this department and that department, and then they turn around and try to make another part. Now we got, just like Donald Trump, he's sitting up in there talking about a peace board. You don't need no damn peace board. You got a United Nations. And then you the same damn stupid son of a gun sitting up here trying to start an argument with the Europeans and then trying to take Greenland. What you need a peace board for? See, you take tax dollars. We already got a United Nations with United Nations peacekeepers all over the world. All over the world. But you want to start a big fight with the Canadians? Want to start a big fight with the Europeans? Want to take Greenland? A big hypocrite. It's a big hypocrite. Talking about the rule of law. Then he wants to give pardons to all these January 6 people. Want to give pardons to any and everybody that was involved in January 6th. Got the ICE people out here shooting people. And killing American citizens for exercising their constitutional rights. But you claim you support family values and freedom and all this. If somebody disagree with you, they got to die. If they don't agree with anybody in the Republic, you got to die. Man. Now we got all this artificial intelligence coming. I mean, you know, that's the thing today. Artificial intelligence, you know. So, you know, free markets, you know. Private property ownership, you know, businesses, you know, opportunities. But look here, we're gonna come back on my next video. We're gonna finish where I left off. And just remember, like I started with my video today, it ain't no dualism in the Holy Bible. No dualism. No. There ain't no dualism in the Holy Bible. There's only one God in the Holy Bible. Only one. Old Testament and New Testament. Ain't no dualism in the Holy Bible. That Gnostic nonsense, that's a lie. And all you bitches that thought you had got away, like the gangster disciple and the black gangster disciple, you thought you had got away. Well, see, when I make my video, I already showed it. See, I knew a long time ago. Talking about that blood gang, that Crip gang out there in Los Angeles, California. What you thought you got away with, you ain't get away. You thought you got away, but you didn't. You just some dumbass niggas. Straight to the point, just some dumbass niggas. Just like them gangster disciples, all that supreme gangster nonsense, and that black gangster new breed up in Chicago. See? Elvin Pepper Lopez, he real. He true. Bobby Gore, he real and true. The old heads, man, they real and true, man. Whatever you thought you got away with, man, Alfonso ain't got shot, man. A lot of individuals, man, who stood for vice lord, man. Conservative vice lord. See, when I leave my video, man, and when I make it clear, see, it's just like Walter Wheat, the Four Corner Hustle, when they got started. They were conservative vice lord. Was with the Lord, man, with the Lord, he dead now. Talking about some damn narcissism. The Walter Wheat, man, that was wrong. That was wrong. You're talking about that MNA and that black mob. The niggas who started that Black Diamond shit, they ain't know what they were talking about. They go for the rest of you goddamn vice lord. You know, these dumb ass niggas. You just some dumb ass niggas, just like them damn gangster sites. You know, black gangster, new breed, that blood gang, that creep, just some dumb ass niggas. Worried about being a gangster and a mobster and a thug. See, when you don't put education first, when education not first, that's the result. That's the result. When you don't put education first, that's the result. That's the reason why. And let me say this before I leave in today's video. Yesterday was Valentine's Day. Name one song Sam Cooke, my main man. Sam Cooke, my main man. Round, baby. My main man. Sam Cooke. Name one song. One. Name one Sam Cooke song. One. Valentine's Day. For Valentine's Day. One. Oh, man, I got this. Can I call somebody? One song. Sam Cooke. My main man. One song for Valentine's Day. One Sam Cooke song for Valentine's Day. Sam Cooke, that's my main man. One song, Sam Cooke for Valentine's Day. I got it. I got it. No, that's not. Sam Cooke. That's my main man. Sam Cooke, man. That's my man, boy. One song for Valentine's Day. Nothing can change this love I have. And another song. Let me see. Cupid. Darling, you send me. All right, I'm in right there. One Sam Cooke song. One. Just one. Go on and on and on. Okay, I'm going to come back on my next video. Man, we're going to finish where we left off. I want to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, Son of God, for all the blessing and guidance provides us all with. Continue to pray about natural disasters. Continue to pray about war that being fought. And just continue to pray. My Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, Son of God. Thank Him for all the blessing and guidance provides us all with. And this Black History Month. And for all of us that are black / African American, we should take that serious. And like I said earlier, people in Sub-Saharan Africa, like I said, we got the book right here. We got many books and from the library talking about what our people religions are and what they say about God, the oral tradition. Oh man, it's so many. It's so many Niger Congo who believe in one God. Believe in one God. That's the traditional religion. But I don't have time to go into it. But come back on my next video. Like I said, I'm gonna continue, with prehistoric religion, traditional African religion, ancient African religion, and math. So you take care of yourself, and I wish each and every one of you the very best.